But think about today's music scene, in the sense of creative musicians,
It's a hard thing to answer. It's a hard thing. Everybody knows that the music scene is very chaotic today. I think we can agree to that. You know. Now, some people buy into that kind of chaos. Some people love it. Some people don't like it. Some people like it loud and raunchy, and some people like to wear their hair green. And some people like to comb it back straight. And there's so many people, and there's so many different styles, and so many different ways of thinking. And the world is so motley at this time. It's so different that it's just hard to say. There's a lot of music that I think is horrible. I think it's really downright bad, and I think they're ripping everybody off. And I think that the people who own the companies are doing the same thing. They're exploiting, But of course, that's totally subjective and it's totally personal. And it's one of those things where I think what I think sounds lousy, somebody thinks sounds great. I'm just a little disappointed that. I don't know if I'm disappointed, but I'm a bit concerned that jazz is, they say jazz is getting popular and jazz is this. That's not true. It's bullshit. And jazz is still underground. People who play jazz are still fighting to play jazz. People still, generally, I don't think, want to hear jazz.
Do you think that it's because it's, too difficult to understand, maybe for the general public?
Yeah, I think it's too difficult to understand. I think the harmonic structure is something that people can't follow. Barely good people who play music sometimes have problems with the harmonies of jazz. Let alone people who don't know anything about harmony, And then of course when you start talking about the way John Coltrane played and people like that, man, they totally lost the public, general public, I think.
Yeah. Who will you be playing with when you're going to be coming over to Europe?
Very good question. I don't know at this point. I really don't know. I might just play solo guitar. I'm thinking very seriously just going out on stage and doing it all by myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm enjoying that a lot these days. I promise you won't be disappointed. You won't miss the rhythm section because I am the rhythm section. I'll tap my foot and you'll know where the rhythm is.
Can you just give a list of the cities and the countries you should be visiting when you're going to be coming over?
Okay. I think I'm making 2 tours. I'm supposed to make one in April. Now, I don't know anything about that at this point. But the one if we go in May, see, the one in April, I don't know anything about the rhythm sections or even the cities or what. But the one in May is a G.I.T. tour.
All right.
Now, that G.I.T. tour should have Jeff Berlin playing bass, Ralph Humphreys playing drums, and also Robin Ford doing his trip. So, the 4 of us are going over there. I think we're going to go to London, we're going to go to Paris, we're going to go to Brussels, we're going to Amsterdam, Denmark, Sweden, Germany. So we should be making quite a tour.
Have you got the dates of the Paris concerts?
Okay. We will be in Paris. We have a gig in Paris in April the 10th. That's a Friday night. We have a seminar in Paris April the 11th. And another seminar in Paris April the 12th. And we're leaving Paris the 13th. So we're going to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah. Do you know which club it's going to be in or where it's going to be held?
No.
No.
All right. Will you get this published soon?
Yeah, I'm going to do my best, yeah. They better get it out, Yeah, can you name some of your favorite musicians and the reasons why you like them?
Well, let's talk about guitar players for a minute, and then we can go on to the other instruments. I like Jim Hall. I love the way Jim Hall plays. I love the way Mick Goodrick plays. Let's see. I like the way Alan Holdsworth plays. I like Pat Metheny's playing. I like, I like Tal Farlow. I like Chuck Wayne. I'm trying to not leave out anybody because I don't want. There's so many good ones, Joe Pass. Love Joe Pass. Yeah, I like the contemporary guitar players. Guys playing contemporary jazz, that is. Of course, I like Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Two of my all-time favorite players. Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, Chick Corea. I like a lot of underground people too. People don't know about Steve Bagby and Tony Castellano, and they're great musicians. Ira Sullivan, I love the way Ira plays. You know, I like them for different reasons. You know, each person has their own quality about them. Some people are adventurous, some people are not so adventurous, and yet still they sound great. You know, just different things, but they're all creative. That's the secret of it all.
Mm.
They all have this incredible creative spark, and no matter how they play, it always sounds incredible to me. I like Mike Stern on the guitar.
Mike Stern?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in?
He used to play with Miles there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, have you met any kind of exceptional talents? Or do you find that most musicians really, it's just a matter of hard work, you know?
No, I've met exceptional musicians. I have absolutely met exceptional musicians. But the truth of the matter is, even the exceptional musicians have worked real hard. So the thing about it is, what I think is most people don't give it a good count. You know, if they work real hard, you never know what's going to happen.
Mm.
I think there's such a thing as talent, but I don't think it's what a lot of people make it out to be. I wonder how really talented people are. I really firmly believe it's the hard work that brings it out, you know. And you just never know what you got until you do the hard work. And you have to do a lot of it, sometimes more than we're willing to do. There's certain points you have to push by. It's a lifetime, it's kind of a struggle, if I can call it that, you know. I mean, you're always pushing, you know. Some people show it at a younger age, some people show it at a later date, but the thing about it, it's there. I believe that it's there, man. You just got to want it and go after it and keep working at it. Keep your mind on where you want to go.
Anything to say about equipment, about your guitars, amplifiers, you know?
Well, as you see, I got this 335 I'm trying out. And I'm beginning to like it more and more because, of course, it sustains longer and it has a nice kind of electric jazz sound that I like, you know. It's not that I'm getting disillusioned with the big boxes, because I think they'll play always a great part in my life at least, but I'm looking for something to project a little more, and these seem to do it. Digital delays and choruses and all that are good. I like them for about 10 minutes. Then I get real tired of them. You know, I just can't seem to play with those toys for long. You know, I mean, they're fine. I see some people use them to a great advantage, but they don't seem to work so much. They're not a part of my personality, I don't think.
Mm.
You know, at least not yet. You know, like I first of all, I don't like to lug a lot of equipment around anyway. I like a very simple amplifier. I use a Polytone.
Mm.
I like to plug in. I like the music to be soft. I don't like it to be loud. You know, if you play soft, the guitar sounds good. So I don't need a lot to really make a real decent sound on the guitar. You know, although I experimented with the chorus and I like the way it spreads things around a bit more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, I can't keep it on all night. You know. For some people, I mean, you know, this is a day of people experimenting with incredible equipment. And, you know, I just have not experimented enough to make really valid statements. I just know sometimes I get a little tired of it. It's like feeding me too much chocolate cake, man. I want a steak, you know.
Strings and picks, things like that, you know.
Yeah, well, strings and picks. I'm a pick collector. I actually have a pick collection that's unbelievable. And that's because, you know, it's the most important thing in my life because I use a pick. So I'm always trying new picks. Anything that comes out, I try. I've got picks going back to when I first started. I got boxes full of picks, you know. I get bored real quick. I play a pick a week or so, a week or two, and then I want to try a new pick, you know. So I just keep switching all the time. Strings I try to keep consistent because strings are a feel, you know. I'm beginning to use lighter strings now because maybe as I get older, I'm getting tired. I don't want to work that hard anymore. I just want the music to be. I just want to think of the music. I don't even want to think of the instrument, you know. So the strings I use range from about a 12 down to about a 46 or a 49, and everything else in between.
Which polytone amp do you use?
I got a 15-inch. I think it's the Mark IV or the 4. Number 4.
Okay. Yes. Can you say anything about the books? Your books.
Yeah.
The books you've written.
Sure. I wrote.
You give the list, you know, so that.
The first book I wrote was called 21st Century Intervallic Designs. That book deals with wide skip type lines. it's kind of leaning towards outside. Of course, I think they're real inside now. And this book is very good because a lot of two-hand players, Steve Lynch and Jennifer Batten, have worked out of this book, and they've got a lot of those intervallic designs going really good. For some reason, the book is beginning to sell now. I guess some rock star happened to mention that he got some things out of it, and now everybody's running to get it. And it's been around for a couple of years, and now it's beginning to take off, you know. But it's I haven't seen too many books written like this, and I'm very happy that I wrote it because it comes from my outside, my Slaminski type of influence, you see. So I consider it to be a real good book for those who are interested in learning how to play a little looser, a little freer, a little more outside. Now, the next book I wrote was a book called Fusion, but it's not fusion in the sense of rock and jazz. It's fusion in the sense of jazz and jazz. I went and took the old jazz, so to speak, the bebop jazz, and then I updated it with some of the new stuff, contemporary stuff, the fourth lines, and things that go outside a little bit. And I put the two together, and that's what it's fused. Like one solo is kind of inside, and the next solo, I did two on the same progression. The next solo the second solo is a little bit more outside. So it works out real good. It's helped a lot of people. I'm very happy about that. Then the next book is transcriptions from an album I did called Bonita. We had a friend of mine by the name of Peter Beltry transcribed all the solos, and the Zdenek, the people who put out the Fusion book, put them into a solo. All these, the two books, the Fusion book and Joe Diorio guitar solos could be purchased from Baldwin Mills. 21st century intervallic designs could be purchased from REH. Also from REH is this latest series, this Hotline series, REH Hotline series, and I did a 16-17 page book with a cassette on jazz, and I did a little bit of everything, turnarounds and wide skip things and some blues. And it's actually it's a very good book. I like it very much. I think it's going to help a lot of people who are interested in jazz for the first time. Then, of course, I wrote I had a chapter in the 10 book. That's a G.I.T. publication. You know? And we're ready to go to press with a couple of chord solo books now that I wrote.
Right, so there's some new stuff which is in it.
Well, this is like chord solos for on standards.
Oh, okay,
And
right.
then I harmonized them my own way, so it should be out by the end of the year at least.
Yeah, that made me just think about something spontaneously. Did you do a lot of while you're listening to records? Did you copy the solos note by note?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them. You see, I never liked to do that much. It always was so tiring to me. You know, some people, I never got to the place where I didn't have to do it with the guitar. Some people can sit down and just take them off without the guitar. But I always had to use my guitar to try to pitch this out and see if I was playing the rhythms right or whatever, you know. So consequently, I copied a handful of Charlie Parker solos, a handful of Sonny Rollins solos, and after that I got so exhausted with the whole situation I says, fuck it, man, I'm just going to have to remember what I remember and start playing my own thing. And that was it. Some people, you know, go on and just copy and copy and copy. And I think it's fine if it's helpful, you know. As long as it's helping you, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah, but basically you'd kind of advise that it's probably more beneficial to try and start having your own personality. Well, try to be more...
I think it's a process. I think you should go through it, though. I think you should copy some things. I think you should try to get some kind of a repertoire going, and then work with that repertoire. So work with those ideas by turning them around and trying different ways with them. You know, but so because see, you got to remember that takes time to do too. That doesn't come overnight. You know, just because you got a bunch of licks doesn't mean that you can turn them around. It takes time to learn how to turn them around. You see?
Yeah.
So therefore, you have to go to the masters and get those ideas and keep playing them over and over again, even though it sounds repetitious and you get bored with it. And eventually, maybe when you get bored enough, you start taking different chances, you see. But by all means, copying is a very good thing. You can't learn without copying, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, you get really hung up.
How did you develop your intervallic technique?
Oh, I just started looking at the Slaminski book, and I noticed I had never come in contact with lines that were so far apart. You know, instead of just like being horizontal, this guy had real vertical lines type things. So I started playing some of the things just as exercises because I wanted to improve my technique. And after a while, I started using them. They started to creep into my playing, so I start going back for more, you know. And then I started inventing my own, and that's how it came about.
But there are just a few record labels giving total freedom to the artist. What do you think about ECM, the ECM record?
I don't know much about ECM. I tried to get on that label, but I guess they weren't interested in my kind of stuff. Some of the ECM stuff is great, you know, there's no two ways about it. Then on the other hand, I've heard some ECM things I didn't care for. So, but it's like all labels, I feel that, you know, they're going to put out some good ones and some bad ones. And there's certainly, I think, doing a great thing by recording so many fine players and allowing them to have the freedom. At least they seem like they have freedom. You know, at least they're pushing kind of esoteric music as opposed to, you know, just straight rock or straight fusion or anything. You know, they seem to like things that are a little bit different, and that's good. We need that. I don't know. Most record companies won't give you too much freedom, and they kind of tell you what they want. You know, from what I understand, I've never really been associated with too many companies.